How will they be able to identify the antichrist?
The so-called Christians are determined in believing this lie that they will be able to identify Christ and the Antichrist when they are among them, but they fail to understand that only Christ herself is the one who can bring to light who she is and also who is the Antichrist that opposes her. Men could imagine who he is because they see the evil deeds of that man of sin, but without Christ, Lisbeth, they cannot be completely certain it is him. Since, without the presence of Christ among men, it is impossible for them to identify on their own and with absolute certainty who the Antichrist of the world is. And it is because the mere fact that Christ is present, her true light, is what makes the man of sin emerge from his hiding place. When Christ is present, it is easy for man to identify the Antichrist and thus be able to recognize his lies and deceptions. Look at this example. An antidote is something that is used to counteract a certain poison and stop its aftermath, but it is necessary to know which poison you are dealing with in order to combat it with the correct antidote. Analogically, if the so-called Christians don't have the true Christ with them because they do not know her, cannot identify her, and, hence, be helped by her to overcome the poison of the earthly mind, how can they pretend that they will be able to identify the Antichrist, the very propeller of that poison against the truth of God, the Father, and of Christ, if they do not see Christ herself, since she is the antidote for that poison, and who can stop its aftermath? If they don't even know the truth of who God the Father and Christ are, much less can they know whom and what the actions of an Antichrist are against. The first thing an Antichrist does is deny God the Mother, saying that God is one and commits abominations that would make a mother ashamed of her child. He does this with the intention of eventually saying that he himself is the chosen or anointed one, usurping the place that does not belong to him and which belongs to the wife of God, Christ. This is how the Antichrist leads men astray, so that they cannot see the truth, intentionally omitting the spiritual mother, since he has hidden intentions, promoting a scam, such as saying that Christ is a man, and that instead of being the wife, who was with God the Father from the beginning, creating everything, it was a son. Therefore, since it is Christ who reveals the truth to man, that God are, in reality, father and mother, it is impossible for men to even imagine what the definition of an Antichrist is. Since Christ herself is the one who reveals this great mystery of God, the Father and Christ, God the Mother, so that humanity can be free from the chains that all the Antichrists of all past generations, and of this one, have bound them with. This is how Christ Lisbet helps man to know the truth that makes them free from the earthly mind, the great harlot that sits on the many waters, the minds of men, so that with the help of Christ, they can identify the lies of the enemy of her cross and tear them down. It is Christ Lisbet who identifies that enemy, and with the spirit of her mouth confronts him and takes away his reign. That is why someone who is an Antichrist hates the holiness of Christ and wants to eliminate her from history, or try to make her look like a prostitute, or that she is possessed by demons, and says that what she reveals about him is a lie, and that it is just a witch hunt against him, when in reality, he is the father of lies. Doesn't this all sound too close to reality? It is because this is what the many antichrists throughout history have done. It is all those foolish men in power who have opposed the truth and the holiness of God, the Father and Mother, and drag their followers with them, and in their minds say, "I will ascend above the heights of the clouds and be like the Most High God."